Dismissed!
Hello from the Centennial State, and welcome to your West Wing Week. This week, the President wrapped up his trip across the globe to Vietnam and Japan, honored our fallen heroes on Memorial Day at Arlington, traveled to Indiana to speak on the economy, and here to Colorado to speak at the Air Force Academy commencement. He also welcomed this year's NCAA men's basketball champs, the Villanova Wildcats, to the White House. That's May 27th to June 3rd, or Hello, Elkhart. This West Wing Week begins in Japan, where the President was wrapping up an epic trip to 4 cities in 5 days in Vietnam and then Japan. His last stop was also a first, a presidential visit to the Peace Memorial in Hiroshima, where the President paid tribute to the millions of lives lost in World War II. On Memorial Day, the President traveled to Arlington National Cemetery, in whose 624 acres the dead of the nation's conflicts have been buried, beginning with the American Civil War. While there, the President took part in his last Memorial Day service as President. On Tuesday, the President traveled to FEMA headquarters, where he was briefed on the preparations and forecast for the upcoming hurricane season.
Hello, how are you?
Find out how you and your family can get prepared at ready.gov. Then back at the People's House, he welcomed the NCAA champion Villanova Wildcats to congratulate them on their season that ended in a thrilling national title game.
Congratulations to the Wildcats for an unbelievable season.
On Wednesday, the President traveled back to the first community he visited as a newly elected president in 2009, Elkhart, Indiana.
We've got to assume the best in each other, not the worst. We've got to remember that sometimes we all fall on hard times, and it's part of our job as a community of Americans to help folks up when they fall. Because whatever our differences, we all love this country. We all care about our children's futures. That's what makes us great.
On Thursday, the President traveled here to Falcon Stadium at the United States Air Force Academy. The President spoke to the class of 2016 about the challenges facing our country and our foreign policy in the future. The President also recognized the years of sacrifice and commitment that was required that led these soon-to-be second lieutenants to this spot on this day. You can check out the President's last commencement address here at the Air Force Academy at whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out this edition of your West Wing Week.
It's so exciting.